Okay, so we just left the storage facility, Amelia Personal Storage, and I want to talk to you a little bit about the market, which was one of the things that really appealed to us when we sent the direct mail campaign and the owner called us. Once we went under contract, not only did we do a lot of research online, but there's only but so much research you can do online. It's when you go under contract that you start to perform due diligence. That's when you really start to get more nuanced information about the market that you probably can't really get online. When you get feet on the ground and you're able to drive the area, you're able to see the real estate, you're able to see the local businesses that are in their area, it really starts to paint a picture for what this market is like, the type of clientele, the type of customers that you're going to have storing at your facility. One of the things that we found out quickly is that this is a historic neighborhood. So Amelia Island wants to keep this as storage. Anytime I'm looking at a piece of real estate, I'm always asking, what is the highest and best use of that piece of real estate? You know, when we looked at this facility, because we're in a vacation destination, Amelia Island, think of Amelia Island kind of like the Hilton Head of Florida. We're always looking at, okay, what if we put up a fourplex or a 12-unit building? How high can we go up? So we started to check with Nassau County, zoning department, planning. We started to just see like what's possible here, because if you look straight ahead, there you have the beach. And so not only is our storage facility literally half a mile away from the beach, which is very attractive because the dirt is valuable. The flip side of that is that insurance can be an absolute killer. Okay, so whenever you're evaluating storage facilities, especially when you're in the state of Florida, Louisiana, the closer you are to the coast, the more you're going to have to account for things like insurance. Okay, you're going to have to underwrite higher. You're going to have to call some insurance agents, try to get a feel and a sense for what insurance is going to cost. And that is one of those line items when you're underwriting a deal, when you're analyzing it, that can absolutely make or break the deal. Fortunately, we were able to get a good rate here. Again, because we were able to double the rates, almost double the rates within the first 30 to 45 days, we were able to justify buying this even with the super high insurance rate. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to walk you through, or I should say I'm going to drive you through the competitors. We're going to check out some of the competitors in Amelia Island. So once you go under contract, that is when you're typically going to drive or fly out to check out the market. And one of the things that's super important is that you drive the competition. All right, so let me just look at my phone here so I know where we're going. We're actually going to check out two competitors. We'll hop off. I'll show you pros and cons. Okay, now you got to be honest with yourself. The facility that you're buying, you want to evaluate it and against the competition. And one of the questions I always ask myself is, what is the level of sophistication in the market? Do they have a Google My Business listing? Do they have a website? Do they have a strong online presence? Does it look like they're doing revenue rate management? Okay, when you go to their website, can you contact them right away? If you call them, do they pick up the phone? Or are you getting like Mary Joanne or Sally's voicemail? You can kind of tell if it's a personal phone number. If you leave a message, how quickly are they calling you back? Those are all small indications of how the competition is treating the customers, the level of sophistication in the market. So super important. And by the way, those are things that you can do from the comfort of your home. You don't have to drive to the facility. You don't have to hop on a flight to go see it. But these are things that we do as we're evaluating the opportunity. We're looking at the deal, we're looking at the market, we're sizing up the competition, and we're getting a sense for how are they managing and operating their storage facility, and what is the competition going to be like. I love to be in markets that are unsophisticated. In other words, the competition isn't quite there. They're not fully maximizing the operations, how efficiently they run the business. And that was one of the things that really appealed to me about this particular facility, Amelia Personal Storage, is that there wasn't number one, there wasn't a lot of storage facilities in the area, and the competition wasn't really that stiff. Okay, so we're hopping on here on First Coast Highway, and we're gonna go visit one particular storage facility that I actually tried to buy. So when I was on site doing due diligence, I asked the owner, I went and I met with the owner and I asked them, I treat that owner like I would anybody else, build a relationship with them, be friendly, get to know them, find out how long they've owned and operated the storage facility, ask them what their experience has been like. Like when you meet these storage owners, whether you're interested in buying it or you're sizing up the competition, you want to do 10 to 20% of the talking and have them do 80 to 90% of the talk to 10 to 20% of the time, have them do the majority of the talking. You want to ask questions and you want them to open up. So if you just ask questions and you bite your tongue, you'd be amazed at how much information you can get from these storage owners. Now, that particular owner had no interest in selling. He wanted to pass it on to his kids. But one of the things that we were able to do was build a relationship, and he has actually referred customers over to us when they have been full, and then we just pay them a referral fee. So don't think about the competition as competition per se, but if they're not interested in selling, how do you collaborate with them? There might be instances in which that makes sense. So if you can see around here, it's an amazing area. Again, Amelia Island's a vacation destination, so we knew that the population was going to continue to grow. There's jobs and money coming in. This is one of those facilities that is super easy to own and operate and manage. And one of the reasons is that we have less than 5% past due. In other words, our delinquency rates are super, super low. By the 7th or 8th of the month, most of our customers have already paid their rent. We might have one unit that we auction off every month, if that. We've gone several months without having to auction a unit. So just a great location. And that's one of the things that I didn't experience when I bought my first facility. I was in a rough market in Mississippi. The demographics were the complete opposite here of Amelia Island. In fact, I think in that market, the average medium household income was less than $30,000. So what does that mean? That means you're going to have higher delinquencies, you're going to have bad debt, you're going to have to auction off more units. Unfortunately, you have to deal with break-ins at times. Knock on wood, I've owned this facility 3.5 years. We have never had a break-in at this particular facility. So one of the things I really like about it is just the ease in which you can manage and operate these facilities. So the summary of this is you really have to pay attention to the market, okay? And when you get on site, once you go under contract, not only are you going to evaluate the actual storage facility, you're going to look at the condition, you're going to look at the financials, the occupancy, you're going to drive the area, but you're going to do what we're doing right now. And you're actually going to go and drive each of the competitors within a 5-mile radius. One of the questions that sometimes people ask me is like, why are you only looking within a 5-mile radius? Well, when you think about the mindset of somebody who's going to rent a storage unit, they're looking for speed and convenience. Really, they're looking for convenience above all else. They want something that's easy to rent. They want a safe and secure location, well lit, good security. They want to make sure their belongings are safe, but they're not driving 45 minutes away from where they live to go store their stuff. So they're going to always look probably within a 3 to 5 mile radius. If you're looking at a facility that's in a little bit more of a rural area, then you might go out 7, 8, maybe even 10 miles if there's really not a lot of storage facilities in the area. So we're about 5 minutes away from getting to the first competitor. Now, this particular competitor, family-owned business, this is the gentleman that didn't have interest in selling his storage facility. They do a pretty good job. Their occupancy is usually pretty high. I don't believe they have climate controlled. I think it's only drive up. It's a larger facility. I want to say it's roughly 40 to 50,000 net rentable square feet, which was one of the things that was attractive to me about that facility is I was buying 24,000 square feet here. If I could buy that one, that would give me a pretty large footprint in the market, and that might appeal to one of the REITs. Okay, one of the real estate investment trusts like Public Storage, Extra Space. Those companies are usually looking for 50, 60, 80, 100,000 net rentable square feet. They're not looking at a small 15, 20,000 net rentable square foot facility. So yeah, those are some of the things that you wanna do. You're gonna drive each competitor, stop in, get to know them, and think about them evaluate it from two perspectives. Number one, actually there's one of them right there. I just passed it. Let me turn around because that is one of our competitors right there. Let me see if I can loop around here. Okay, so this particular facility is a much smaller facility. I think it's maybe 8 to 10,000 square feet. Now, this facility, we also tried to buy it, but it was purchased maybe about a year before we bought our facility. So as you can see here, one of the things I look at is, okay, well, how does this compare to our facility? Number one, it's drive up, but they don't have that many units. You look at the doors and you can kind of get a sense for the size of the units here. We'll drive in here. So here they probably have a 10 by 10, maybe that's a 10 by 15. Those are really, really small units. So obviously these are drive up. There's not that many of them. Now it does look like a well-kept facility. It's got pavement, right? It's not gravel. It's clean. Doors are freshly painted. They have security cameras. So they have lighting, fire extinguisher. It doesn't appear like they have an office right there. Return locks here. That's usually a pretty good indication that the operator knows what they're doing. So when we bought the facility, we came here and we checked out this facility. We called. They were not interested in selling. They had just recently purchased it. And it seems like you're doing a pretty good job from a management perspective. Their occupancy is usually pretty high. So there have been some new owners that have come into the market, not just us, but this gentleman right here. I've also built a relationship with him. And that's something that you want to do, is if and when you get to the point where you buy a facility, make sure that the owners know your name. Okay, make sure that you're building a relationship with them, because you never know when they're going to be interested in selling their facility, and you want to be top of mind. Okay, so if they ever get to the point that they're going to sell, you want to be the first person that they call. Now, the facility we're going to is the larger one, the one that's probably somewhere in the 40 to 50,000 net rentable square footage range. And so I might even pop in and see if the guy's there and just kind of get an update, see if he's interested in selling. Maybe he's even interested in buying. You never know. At the right price, it could make sense to sell. So one of the things we always do when we're looking at a deal is you determine the exit before you enter the deal. Always determine the exit strategy. So the plan with this particular facility was a buy and hold, and then it was going to be to sell. If we're able to get stabilization to a certain point, we were able to increase the revenue. If we're able to get a certain number, we would be interested in selling. Otherwise, we would have to refinance the property within that 6-year term, because this was a seller finance structured deal. So the storage facility is right over there. There's a little tiny airport, and it's right behind that airport. So I would say this is probably our biggest competitor. This is probably our main competition. This is new construction. This fire department's pretty new. So there's another example. That's new real estate. You could tell Nassau County's putting a lot of money into this area. They want to grow it. There's a lot of tourism. And so this is probably our biggest competitor. It's right across the street from an airport. But I'm looking at, okay, look at the sign. Does it have good signage? Is the phone number like big and clean? What's the sense that you get when you drive into this facility? Over here, they have boat and RV storage, which we don't have. So that's an amenity that, that's a tick on their side. And then here is the storage facility. You see the grass is well kept. They have good signage. Some of these doors could be painted. They could do a better job of that. Now, this gentleman has a big warehouse space in here. But these are all drive up, and then across the street they have their boat and RV storage. But yeah, you just kind of get a sense for. So this is pretty comparable to ours, I would say, aside from the fact that we do not have boat and RV. One of the things I like to look at is the drive aisles. So this appears to be about 20 feet. You don't want drive aisles that are more narrow than that, because they could just get kind of tight. But 25 feet is ideal. This appears to be, I would say, 20 feet drive aisles. If I own this storage facility, I would install Bollards, which are those yellow poles, 2 yellow poles in each corner, like we have at ours. That protects the building, because you're going to have a lot of traffic coming in and out. You're going to have people driving in, backing out. So yeah, I'm just driving around. If we were performing due diligence, I would stop. I would have a conversation with the owner. But I'm getting a sense for how are they managing and operating. I'm looking at the signage. I'm looking at, are the grounds well kept? Is it clean? I don't see a camera system. It looks like they have good lighting, but I don't see any security cameras. I do see that they have an automated gate, which is really, really important. So it's well kept. Here they have their gate hours. And then over there, here, I'll take you over here just so you can see. This is their boat and RV. Now this does look to be a climate controlled building. I'm pretty certain that's a climate controlled building. So this is something that our facility doesn't have, is boat and RV storage. It's just, this is a much, much bigger facility. So remember one thing, and this is what I'll leave you with. This entire business, any business really, is built on the back of relationships. Okay, relationship capital is the most important capital you could possibly raise. So whether it's getting to know your competition, other storage owners, other operators, vendors, wholesalers, brokers, get to know people, make sure that they know you, because as they say, your network is your net worth.